What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today we are going to take a look at a lick from Sonny Rollins, and we are going to talk about the articulations, the phrasing, and the dynamics that make the lick come to life. One of my favorite Sonny Rollins albums is Tenor Madness. It's got a giant cast of players on it, and Sonny Rollins takes some pretty amazing solos. And of course, one of the best ones is Tenor Madness. And in this one, he plays this phrase that sounds super cool, and it demonstrates a lot of what I talk about when it comes to making a phrase sound really good by bringing out the articulation and shaping the phrase. So today, we're gonna break down this phrase and talk really specific about what articulations you should use and how to bring out the goal notes, what the goal notes are, and how to make this phrase sound really, really good. Before we jump into the phrasing on this lick, I'd like to ask you that if you enjoy my content, you like what I'm putting out there and you're learning from it, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Also, you can leave me a comment of other things you would like to see or how this video has helped you. So to start off, I am going to play the phrase at a slower tempo with the correct articulations. So that's what it sounds like when you bring out all of the right stuff. This is what it sounds like if you just play the notes that are written in a transcription. It sounds okay, but it definitely doesn't have the shape, it doesn't have the energy, it doesn't move forward. So let's talk about some articulations. It's gonna make this thing sound really, really good. Okay, to start, we come in with a pickup note. So the pickup note is a B on the tenor sax, of course. So we're playing the pickup note B to a C. We want to tongue the B and start our swing on the C. We don't want to start our swing on the B. We want to start it on the C. So we are going to also tongue the C. So this is what that will sound like. You know how I'm tonguing that C? If I don't tongue the C, this is what the swing sounds like. It just feels weird to me. It has like that yucca yucca sound that I've talked about in past videos, where it just doesn't have like that real hard swing sound to it. So we want to tongue the note after the pickup note to start the swing feel. Now I am calling it a pickup note. Obviously it doesn't come from the other measure. It comes from the and of two. But to me, this sounds like a pickup note starting this phrase. All right, so the very first thing we need to do is find our very first goal note. So let's play it and take a listen and see if we can pick it out. Did you hear that? That top note, that C, whenever you have a turnaround note, in other words, you're going up a lot and down a lot, that top note is almost always gonna be your goal note. So we wanna bring out that goal note and it's gonna really shape the phrase. Take a listen. You hear that? You can hear the turn. I get up to the top and I turn it around. I hit that C hard. I don't like accent it. I don't overdo it. I just lean into it. I play it a little bit stronger. There's no real articulation for bring a note out, but don't over accent it. But that's what we want to do. We want this to be the goal note. So this is what it would sound like without bringing out the C. It sounds all right, but you kind of miss all of that cool phrasing going on just by bringing out the C. So bring out that goal note. Now let's find the next goal note. So we hear those two notes. Those two notes are definitely goal notes, the G and the F. I call those notes ricochet notes. I call them ricochet notes because it hits and then it skips and hits and then it might skip and hit again. So it's like a rock ricocheting across the pond or something. So I call them ricochet notes. I've never heard anyone else refer to them as that. But to me, that's what it sounds like. So we're gonna bring those notes out, the ricochet notes, and listen to what happens to the phrase. Now it lands on the E flat, but we're gonna do something different with the E flat. So bring out those ricochet notes. Now notice when I bring out those ricochet notes, I'm not really setting them up well. To set them up well, if I know I'm gonna do something like that, I'm gonna have like that accent that's bouncing around, or that, it's not really an accent, the goal note that's kind of bouncing from place to place, I need to do something to set the notes up. So both eighth notes before those goal notes, so the D and the E, need to be ghosted. They need to be pulled back. They are set up notes. In other words, they belong to the other note. That D belongs to the G and the E belongs to the F. So you can't play them full value. So this is what it sounds like when you ghost them. It really sets it up. This is what it sounds like if you don't ghost them. Still bringing out the gold notes, but they don't have nearly as much power. For those who don't know, a ghost note means to play it very softly so that the majority of the note doesn't come out. It's a really muffled note. So you just want like the presence of the note. You don't want the full volume of the note. So now we have this E flat. The E flat that has the rooftop on it, the carrot, whatever you want to call it. I call those dops, D-O-P, because that's what it sounds like, dop. It's a fat quarter note, a fat staccato quarter note. So we want it to be like fat and squatty and have a lot of power to it. You hear that? I'm going to keep going so you can hear more of it. So you just want that, I got fat dop right on there. If I don't, if I play it full value, it doesn't sound bad. It just doesn't have the same weight and the same power as if I dop it. Now, if I play it as a staccato, it's going to lose all of its power. It doesn't feel good at all. All right, after that E flat, our next gold note is the D on beat 1. So if you look at it, we're jumping to it from a large interval, the G to the D, so that's a fifth. Whenever you jump to a note, the note that you land on is almost always going to be a gold note or a note that you bring out. And then we have a little interval after it also, so that even overemphasizes that that D is important. So we're going to bring out that D, and then at the very end, we have the E on the and of 2 leading to the quarter note on beat 3. Beat 3, a quarter note on the beat, is almost always going to be a dop. It's not 100% of the time, but especially when it's on its own without other quarter notes around it, it's probably 85 to 90% of the time it's going to be a dop. So when we have that fat dop note to end the phrase, we're going to play the note, the 8th note before it, as a setup note. So in other words, we're going to pull it back, and in this case, we're going to do a full ghost note on it. So do you hear how pulling that ghost note, the E, back, it makes the A that has the dop on it even stronger and fatter, and it really ends that phrase in a really strong way. Listen to it without the ghost note. My saxophone doesn't even want to play it. It wants to gargle on it. So we definitely want to ghost that E. All right, so let's take a listen to the whole phrase doing everything that we just talked about. So just by bringing out the gold notes, finding those gold notes, bringing them out, setting up the gold notes with notes around it, figuring out what notes are important, what notes are not important, and ghosting them, and dopping those quarter notes, making them fat and squatty, you're going to take a phrase that could sound like this. And give it all kinds of shape, all kinds of life, and all kinds of forward motion. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you now understand the phrasing on this Sonny Rollins lick, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Thanks a lot.